I'm so sorry, Mr. Wright. I'm sorry for what my sister said. Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is. We did what we had to in order for him to get the verdict he deserved. Ooh. That's a biggie. I didn't know. I never knew that the SL9 incident was just another name for the Joe Dark killings. Sounds like everyone's heard about these killings but me. Lana wanted Dark convicted so badly. That's why she used me. That's why she used what happened to me. What do you mean, what happened to you? It's all there in this in the file. Joe Dark's last victim was Prosecutor Neil Marshall. When he murdered Officer Marshall's brother, he left behind an incriminating piece of evidence. But what did you have to do with those killings? She's the real killer. On the night of Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered, Joe Dark tried to kill me. Well, he tried to kill you. Officer Marshall's brother, Neil, was only trying to save me. So that means you... Yes. I was a witness in the Joe Dark trial. I didn't see that one coming. Yeah, me neither. It happened 2 years ago. It was right around this time of the year too. There was a terrible thunderstorm that day, unusual for the season. I was alone in my sister's office. We were planning to eat dinner together once she finished her work. I look at her face. It's a different face. Nice. Suddenly, this terrifying man came bursting into the office. Joe Dark. It seemed like he was running from someone. He pulled out a knife and screamed at me. I didn't know what was going on. Just then, Prosecutor Marshall showed up. Jake Marshall's brother. Joe Dark tried to take me hostage, but before he could, Mr. Marshall tackled him. And then, what happened? I'll never forget it. The lightning struck and the lights went out. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning flashed outside the window, lighting up the office for an instant. What I saw then burned a permanent picture in my mind. I can see it now. What did you see in the instant that crime occurred? Dark knocked down Mr. Marshall and raised his knife. Neil Marshall was stabbed right in front of this poor girl. Yep. Ugh. Don't remember what happened after that. Apparently I passed out. When I came to, Lana was cradling me in her arms. Poor Emma. You've been through so much. Yeah. Oh, another one in there. I couldn't bring myself to testify about that instant. I tried, but the words just wouldn't come out. I drew a picture, but it wasn't any good. 2 years ago, he must have been 14. That's understandable. 14. Ugh. Once it was all over, I made up my mind. I decided that when I grew up, I'd become a scientific investigator. I want to be able to fight crime with my testimonies, and find the evidence to make an airtight case. That way, Lana would never have to forge any. I see. I think I'm finally starting to understand what makes Emma tick. But there's still something that bothers me about that crime. I don't remember the moment when Dark stabbed Mr. Marshall. So you weren't able to testify about that? No, I was only asked about when I was attacked. Must be why she made up the crime. You mean provided bogus evidence? The prosecutor's office wanted the guilty verdict so badly. Lana forged the evidence and Mr. Edgeworth used it. Yes, but I'm sure he didn't know anything about it. He couldn't have known he was being given false evidence. Even so, that's when it all started. The rumors about Mr. Edgeworth. I mean, it's all my fault. If I could have just testified properly, none of this would have happened. So it's true, even though he may not have known it, Edgeworth really was involved in falsifying evidence. After that case ended, Lana was never the same. She became cold like she is today. She must not have been able to face up to what she did, especially not to Emma. There's something that's puzzling me, Emma. What is it? You said you were in Lana's office at the time, right? That's right. Why then would a serial killer come running in there? Not only that, but he's being chased by a prosecutor? There's no mystery there. Joe Dark had been taken in for questioning that day. You mean by the police? Of course, this happened at the police department. He tried to run away halfway through the interview and fled into my sister's office. So why did he run all the way over to your sister's office? Because the detective offices and the questioning room are right across from the elevator. Across from the elevator? But Lana was the chief prosecutor, wasn't she? No, silly, didn't I tell you? 2 years ago, Lana was a detective. She was the best in the entire force. She was a detective too. After the Joe Dark case, she was transferred to the prosecutor's office and made chief prosecutor. I'd better have another talk with her. So after she forged evidence and got that man convicted, she was promoted to chief prosecutor. Was she even trained to do the prosecutions? Okay, whatever. Hey, Mr. Wright, it seems I keep causing you trouble. Falsifying evidence. I didn't think you were the type. Criminals don't mind playing foul, why should we? Lana, if you're wrong, an innocent person might be found guilty. Believe me, I understand the risk. Lana, Emma told me about you. Oh, about how you were a detective 2 years ago, and how the SL9 incident was the reason for your transfer to the prosecutor's office. That's right. Could you fill me in on the details, especially about that unusual change of jobs? Suppose you have a right to know. I mean, you could just... I don't need to ask you. It's true, I was a member of the police force 2 years ago. She was amazing. Look at that shot. They still talk about all the cases she and Chief Gant cracked together. Then he was the vice head of criminal affairs, but he still worked the crime scenes. Damon Gant. He was everything I aspired to be. They're the best team ever. They solved crimes before the reports could even be filed. Emma really idolizes her big sister. Yep. Now you're chief prosecutor. What happens? I always planned on becoming a prosecutor. The reason I became a detective was to gain experience investigating crime scenes so you could later use that experience in court. Okay, that's why. Gant's help in the SL9 case was critical in its resolution. After that, he became chief of police and arranged my transfer to the prosecutor's office. Why was he... But didn't he just make up evidence? Why was Damon... whatever. Maybe I should ask more about this investigation of theirs 2 years ago. Yeah. But first, the trial. A lot of revelations were uncovered at the trial today, and not the least of which was the fact that this case is largely connected to another one 2 years ago. Evidence from the case was stolen. I expected as much. I know how obsessive Officer Marshall can be. That trial really wasn't fair, was it? I believed in you, Aunt Lana. I believe that no matter what happened, you'd always stick to the truth. It can be helped. Whatever. Yeah, whatever. At the trial 2 years, it was only 2 years. It's fine. 2 years ago. I sold my soul 2 years ago. Wow. All drama aside, what the fact of the matter is, at 5:15 there is no murder at the police department. Tell me it's not true, Lana. What the witness, Miss Starr, said about you stabbing Mr. Goodman with a knife. Lana, I don't understand. Why won't you tell us? Emma, this doesn't involve just me. I don't think I've ever seen Lana look so phased before. 2 years ago, I was second in command of the detectives investigating Dark. That means chief detective was no doubt Damon Gant. Yes, Damon Gant and I shared the same office and the same investigations. They even had the same office. We led a team of the best detectives on the force. Detective Goodman, whose case it was, Jake Marshall, and Angel Starr. It was the first time Marshall worked with his brother. He was quite gung-ho. Without a doubt, Joe Dark was the serial killer. We asked him to come in for questioning. We were desperate for evidence. And that was when the last murder took place, when he tried to murder Emma. Prosecutor Marshall was trying to save me from Dark. You see, the first person who happened upon the scene of the crime was me. Detective Gant and Prosecutor Marshall were the ones questioning Dark that day. The investigation was in its final stage when Dark must have panicked. He waited until Gant and Marshall let their guards down and fled the room. From there, he ran straight to the office shared by Detective Gant and myself. That's where he found me. So you're the first person to run to the scene at Lana. It appears so. I was filing some papers while Gant and Marshall were questioning Dark. When I returned to my office, I saw 3 bodies on the floor and smelled blood. 3 bodies. Prosecutor Marshall and the victim and Emma, who had passed out. How did the suspect Joe Dark? Yeah, how did Joe Dark fall? During the struggle, Team Mr. Marshall struck a final blow before he died. Joe Dark had incurred a minor concussion and lay unconscious. What did you do? To be honest, I panicked. I picked up Emma, carried her out of the room, and just held her. Can't blame her after all her sister must have gone through. After that, I placed Dark under immediate arrest. Let me get this straight. You were all involved in the SL9 incident. That's right, quite a coincidence. I don't buy it. There's no coincidence. What are you saying? There's no way everyone involved in this trial was also involved in that incident. Just by chance. I agree. The case was solved too. No, it wasn't. Obviously something wasn't solved. At least one person went to extremes because they didn't believe it was truly solved. Officer Marshall, yes, his actions came as a surprise to me as well. Ever since his brother died, he's changed completely. I guess he wasn't convinced with the ruling against Joe Dark. Life doesn't end with the closing of a case. Everyone has to live the rest of their lives with their memories. That case just might not be over yet. Emma was assaulted by Dark at the police department, right? Yes, in the office that Damon Gant and I shared. The office that Mr. Gant now occupies by himself, the chief office. Maybe we should have a look at the chief's office, the site of the final SL9 murder. Yeah, why not? Let's head over there right now, why don't we? This one? Maybe? Here? I don't see Detective Gumshoe anywhere. Things seem kinda quiet around here today. You're right, the head of the department seems the same though. Why don't we go look for some other people to talk to? Right, we can come back here later. I was only moving here because maybe I can, no. Maybe here I can move to, I don't know how to get to his office. Oh hey, howdy Bambina. Oh Mr. Marshall. I never thought things turned out the way I went when I woke up this morning. Sarah, you never know when life will lead you, Bambina. I should have known my luck had run out when old Billy dried up this morning. Billy. Must be his pet cactus. Sarah, where are you headed? I'm just over to the prosecutor's office for a little interrogation. It's a voluntary appearance, but we all know I won't be coming back. I'm sorry, but you can't go in the evidence room today, partner. Mr. Marshall, why did you do it? Why did the prospectors head west? If ever there was a case I needed to know the truth about, it was that one. Before you turn yourself in, Mr. Marshall, would you mind telling us exactly what happened? Looks like I won't be getting a steak lunch today. Nope. Something was fishy about the trial from the beginning. It wasn't just me either, all the detectives thought so. What do you mean fishy? Some of the facts reported were inconsistent with the evidence we found. For example, the murder weapon. Murder weapon? You mean that switchblade knife with a broken tip? That was Joe's Darks, alright. But in the initial autopsy report, a question was raised. The blade of the knife was not a perfect match with the wound the victim sustained. What does that? That means that he was stabbed with something else. Good chance a knife was not the murder weapon, yeah. However, in the report that was finally submitted, the possibility had been erased. Could the fact have been concealed with forged evidence? The case left behind scars on all of us. Scars that the SL9 incident left behind. Yeah. I got the looks, but he got the brains. He was one of the best prosecutors around. I had just made detective when it went down. It was our first case together. How old was he, your brother? He was 27 at the time. He was awarded the highest honor that very day. I don't mean, yeah, king of prosecutors. What are you looking at me like that for? That's an honor for a prosecutor. I don't know, Marshall must have been, Mr. Marshall must have really been close to his brother. The day the SL9 incident took place, that wasn't the same day as... That's right, it was the day of the evidence transfer. It was drizzling that morning, and by nightfall there was thunder. I can't believe 2 years have gone by already, and tried to steal the evidence so the case wouldn't die. Apparently someone tried to stop you. Detective Goodman was murdered, and the evidence locker was empty. There was something going on behind the scenes in that case. We all knew that later. Every detective involved in the investigation, save one, was taken care of. Miss Starr was fired, and I was demoted and boxed away in a tiny room. What about Detective Goodman? If they did something to him too, the commissioners would get suspicious. No, they were careful enough not to be too obvious. Who are you talking about? Don't get upset, Bambina. I mean Damon Gant and Lana Skye. Chief Detective Damon Gantz and his second in command, Lana Skye. There wasn't a person on the force who hadn't heard of that duo. That case was the biggest step in both their careers. After the case ended, Lana transferred to the prosecutor's office, right? Yeah, Damon Gant, the new chief of police, arranged for that to happen. She'd never been the same since she left. Everyone who knew her said so. Chief Prosecutor Skye was totally different when she was a detective. Now that he mentioned it, Emma said something like that too. Yeah, tell me what happened to my sister. Sorry, Bambina, but her secret is too well guarded. Never found out. Started years ago. So there you have it. That's my story. Enjoy it. It was certainly enlightening. There's one thing for sure I found out in court today. That boy Edgeworth isn't my enemy. He was the one who used falsified evidence to get a guilty verdict. But someone else was the one who gave him that evidence and planned everything. That someone is Damon Gantz. Don't believe me? Well, I don't blame you. I won't even be a patrolman after today. No, I believe him, for sure. Too bad I won't be around to work with you. When you become a real scientific investigator. Adios, Bambina. Turning himself in. Probably won't see him again. So, looks like the mastermind behind all of this seems to be closing in on someone. No one's here today, not even Miss Starr. Everyone's probably busy looking into exactly what happened in the evidence room. Must be where the detectives are. We proved in court today that no one was murdered in the evidence room at 5:15 p.m. on the day of the crime. I thought we were finally making some headway in our case. Instead, it looks like we just ended up making Lana even more guilty. Yep. Gotta find all the answers by tomorrow. Let's move to this one. I don't know. I'm trying to get to Damon Yance. I don't know how to get there. Of course, yeah, Mr. Edgeworth isn't here. Maybe he's being questioned by an inquiry committee. Took a real beating in court today. Yeah, with Lana admitting to falsifying evidence 2 years ago, I guess we'll just have to come back later. Can we get in? No? Fuck, dude. How do we... Maybe offices? Move to... I don't know where to go. Oh. Here we go, maybe. Place is always pretty empty, but today is deserted. Must mean everyone's busy solving crimes, so if you're looking for the others, they're all in the conference room. Thanks. Oh, he'd actually talked to us. With the chief prosecutor saying that what she did and the decision about what to do. Mr. Edgeworth, not to mention our statement to the media in tomorrow's trial. There's more chaos going on than Thanksgiving and Christmas put together. I think festive is the word usually used for those. Sir, we'd like to have a look around Chief Gant's office. Just head across the hall to take the other building and take the elevator to the top floor. It's okay for us 2 random people just to go into his office? I mean, we aren't police officers or anything. Hey, you're right, you can't go in there. It's off limits. Now I see where Detective Gumshoe gets his unique charm. Well, what are we waiting for? Let's head to the chief's office. Yeah, fuck it. So who's gonna stop us? No one. Wow. What an office. That's something, alright. I can see where he gets his music from now, too. Hello, where am I? In the chief's office, silly. At least that's what it said on the door. Check out that pipe organ. That's real, isn't it? Yeah, I used to take organ lessons in kindergarten. They used to call me Little Miss Bach. Or Bach. I didn't even read that. I just watched it go by. I never could remember where C was. Oh, you were in here. Oh, it's you two. Chief Gantz. He put that paper he was reading on in his desk. So, Mr. Wright, have you been swimming lately? No, I haven't. I've been kind of busy lately. I can appreciate that. I've had my hands full too with Miss Marshall's misconduct and Lana's provocative statement. Oh, you mean about the forged evidence? 2 years have passed since that incident. My, how time flies. And he must have known about the forged evidence too. See that big picture on the wall over there? It has, yeah, those 3 together. That's the picture of Lana, Neil, and me. So this is Marshall's brother, Prosecutor Neil Marshall, the day he died. You see what's in front of Lana there? What is that? Is that a spear? Took it to commemorate our work together. Something's not right with this picture. And that's the pot. The pot we put together, and it was missing pieces. I can't quite seem to put my finger on it though. There we go with the long pause. Anyway, I'd like to reminisce all day, but there are matters that need my attention. I'm going to lock up here, so let's go out together. Oh. But this office, it was a crime scene 2 years ago, wasn't it? That case had long since been over. There's no need to investigate it anymore. He is trying to stop us. All the same, we'd still like to look around. Perhaps you didn't hear me. I said there's no need to investigate it anymore. Hurry up and get out. I have a meeting to attend. He's covering it up. Looks like we aren't welcome. It seems that case isn't over with yet after all. What do you mean? Chief can't deny the request to search the crime scene. That means there must be a reason he doesn't want us to look around in there. You mean like a clue? Yeah, there's gotta be a way we can get inside the chief's office. Alright, let's go maybe talk with Lana. Do you think she would know? Hey, you know anything about wait. Present the picture. Gosh, so here. Check this out. Attorneys and prosecutors have no business showing evidence outside court. It's taboo, especially when the interests of both parties are involved. Fine. Fine then. Whatever. Can I check it? Is there anything else that... I don't think... Wait. Wait a second. It's missing the sword. The sword's not there anymore. Alright, I think I covered up everything here. Look, it's not there. So the shiny suit of armor, which I saw in his office, it's still there. The sword on the trophy, and then the broken vase or vase. I think I got all of that out of the picture. So where should I go next? Criminal affairs. Are you gonna rat us out or like get angry at us for going in without your consent? Oh hey Gumshoe. Detective Gumshoe, were you in a meeting? I was just taking a breather. My feet hurt from sitting so long in the meeting. Actually, I had to serve everyone coffee. Sounds like Detective Gumshoe's still out of the loop. Say, have either of you seen Mr. Edgeworth? Edgeworth, no. Why do you ask? He's under fire from both the police department and the prosecutor's office. It's almost like the battles between you two in court. Sounds serious. Is it because of what my sister said? That's basically what it all boils down to. That falsified evidence 2 years ago. Now Mr. Edgeworth has the whole world after his blood. Yikes. Yikes. Well, why would Edgeworth be blamed? It's not like he knew the evidence was forged. Lana Sky's the guilty party here, isn't she? Regardless, the prosecutor is responsible for the evidence he presents in court. Not only that, but as you know, there have been a lot of rumors going around about Mr. Edgeworth. Those who don't like him haven't been able to do anything because of his amazing talent as a prosecutor. But now with this, who knows, like, people will suspect him in every single court case he's been in. Are there really so many people who hate him? In our world's only those with talent rise to the top. Mr. Edgeworth not only had that, but he's young. There's no better receipt I know of for making enemies. Hey Dick, keep up the good work. Yes sir. Let's go out for lunch again sometime, my treat. Yes sir. You gotta take me back to that joint sometime, okay Dick? Yes sir. Seems you don't have any problem with enemies. Yeah, well, I'm careful not to stick out. Anyway, I'm a bit worried about him under all this pressure. I'm afraid Mr. Edgeworth just might crack. Same. Actually, I took a look at the file earlier while the coffee was brewing. Seemed genuine concern for Edgeworth. Of course he is. Well, did you find out anything? The only evidence Dark left behind was during his final attack. His final attack, you mean when he killed Prosecutor Marshall who was trying to protect some girl? It seems Detective Gumshoe never realized Emma was the girl. That's when he left the most incriminating evidence of all. What is it? Let's see. I think it had something to do with the murder weapon. Oh, I forget. It looks like it all written somewhere in here, okay? Powers of recollection never failed to impress. Maybe we should show him the murder weapon. It might jog his memory. Yeah, maybe. Joe Dark was 42 at the time of the crime. He was just your run-of-the-mill businessman. What it made him take to serial killing. One day on his way home from work, he hit someone with his car. So it was an accident. An accident, yes, but it transformed into an animal. He killed a man that witnessed the accident, then he killed a lady who saw the second crime. A kid walked by just then, so he killed him too. Then when he was burying it, a child came up to the scene and was killed as well. Finally, he turned himself in. Seems he was a pretty careless animal. Of course, this is all conjecture. There wasn't a single shred of evidence. So he turned himself in. Yes, but in the middle of questioning, he fled and murdered his final victim. Prosecutor Marshall. Crime was witnessed by someone too, but fortunately he was arrested on the spot. It's a good thing the last witness that wasn't killed. It must mean Emma. Yeah, he didn't even know. Present. Let's see. This. About this. Hey, don't tell me that's. It has a tag attached to it with the label SL9. Incident. I believe this would be the broken murder weapon you were speaking of. What are you doing with that? Ever since that case was closed, the knife's been locked away in a locker. On the day Detective Goodman was murdered, this suddenly disappeared from the locker. And it was found in Mr. Edgeworth's car muffler. That's it. Now I remember what that incriminating piece of evidence was. When you showed me that knife, it all came back to me. Was it, Detective, quick before you forget again? Just tell us. You don't, whatever. This knife, it was Joe Dark's, wasn't it? That's right. We traced it back to the store he bought it at, and it had his fingerprints on it too. But no one actually witnessed him using it to murder anyone, right? That's where his luck ran out. When you take a good look at the knife, you'll see it's broken. You have to take a good look to notice that. Yeah, well, anyway, take a guess where the broken off tip was, or the knife was found. In the body of, the detective, whatever, or prosecutor. The victim, Neil Marshall, was carrying it inside his own body. Yeah, that was found deep inside the stab wound. Did he match Dark's knife? You bet. Down to the last fiber. Well, that's pretty conclusive. Ooh, updates. Oh, there you have it, in a nutshell. That's all I know. Can I ask you one more thing? What is it? If it's money, you should ask Chief Gant. It's not money, but it does concern the Chief. His office is a crime scene, right? It's where Prosecutor Neil Marshall was murdered. Chief's out now and his office is locked. We'd like to have a look around if that's okay. Oh, any detective's ID card can unlock the door. What? Really? But if I let a civilian in there, I'd be charged with breach of trust. Simply put, I'd be canned. No. Sorry, pal. I don't plan on getting fired because of you. How about this ID card it was Detective Goodman's? That won't work either. The data was deleted the day he died. Ooh, or like a day, 2 days too late. In other words, Gumshoe is our only chance at getting into that office. I wonder if there's something we could show him that would make him change his mind. What about what would he want to see? What was this used for? I don't remember what that was used for. What about